Alright, hello everybody, this is Zateo. I'm bringing you another, what's it called, video analysis for SuperKitowiec. Kitowiec? I don't know, I'm probably butchering that, my apologies. But yeah, I'm just going to take a look at your game here and see what you could do better. You said that you have trouble with the arties later on, and I can help you with that, so let's maybe speed up past this first part a little bit. I like the change in the solar given that the winds was pretty low. Not too bad. Um, this is a little nitpicky, but this radar and this LLT could be delayed a little bit. This is a bit early. Usually you'd want to do a little bit more energy after you build the lab. But again, that's a bit nitpicky. I wouldn't worry about it too much. So you gotta take scouts out. I'm gonna turn on the line of sight. Okay. But yeah, while your commander's in the base, you don't really need this LLT. And the LLT will be blocked by these windmills, so placing it right here means anything that gets to this area, like right here, will not be able to get attacked by the LLT. So it's just something to consider when you're placing your turbines. But yeah, you're adding on your energy. You got your first constructor out. You could have boosted this a little bit to get it out a little bit faster. But that's a little nitpicky too. I mean, your energy's low because wind is low. It's kind of one of the things about this game is, you know, if wind screws you over, you know, it's kind of a big impact. But then again, it's kind of screwing everyone over, so it's kind of okay. This factory's idle. This worker's idle. It looks like you correct it, but you can actually I'm going to pause here. One of the things that might be helpful is to go into settings, go into, I believe it's in game, yeah, game, and then under behavior, go to factory guard builders and turn it on. Obviously this is something that's, you know, if you don't like it, you don't have to use it, but I would suggest it because what it basically does is any new builder that comes out of the factory will automatically ignore the rally and instead assist the factory itself, which allows you to, like, you know, so new constructions that come out are not automatically idle when they reach the rally and stuff. Just to me, it helps out significantly. But that does mean that, you know, if you do want your builder where the rally is, you have to select it while it's building to like tell it to go there, and then it'll follow it, or select it from here to do it. But yeah, just a little tidbit to help prevent idle time. But yeah, so you got your commander moving forward. That's good. I would say actually around here you might want a radar just to see what the opponent is doing. Some players might try to rush their commander all the way up to try to secure like a frontal position to secure this big mechs here. So it's just kind of nice to know what's going on. But it looks like you are queuing up a radar over here, which is, you know, always good. Radar's good. I'm just suggesting maybe putting one back here as well to give you a bit more information. But yes, right now you're adding on your energy. You got a constructor helping your factory, which is always something you want to do. So that's good. That's good. Just got it around with your pawns. Okay. Grabbing some mechs. I like that you skip these. You know, it's kind of more important to get to the front early because you want to secure this 3.2 as soon as possible. The sooner you get there, the sooner you can put LLTs down like this. But with your radar, yeah, you see that they're hanging back. So you could actually, I would actually suggest putting the LLTs down here and then grabbing the mechs a little bit sooner. Because ideally in bar, basically you always want to have enough energy to use your metal, and you want enough build power to use it as well. That's oftentimes a limiting factor because you have to go out to grab the metal. You know, so securing the metal is very important. Um, building up your or having metal income is very important, and just utilizing it with build power and having enough energy to use it as well. But yeah, this doesn't look bad. You got this, you got this up to. Kind of boxing him in a bit. Pawn's coming up. Okay. Um, yeah, your energy is so low because of the winds. At some points, I would highly suggest. Oh, and it's low because you're building this. But I would highly suggest getting a storage at some point. Um, like when the wind starts going back up, and you have like once it starts going back up, the wind will be plenty of energy with what you have for right now, but then it'll go back down, so you're not going to have it anymore. So it's nice to have that storage to mitigate when it goes down, and so you just have like a battery of energy that slowly drains instead of quickly drains, basically. And that way you have it when the wind dies down a lot. Yeah, this guy ends up sitting here in the LT range, so you get some extra damage on them. I like this a lot. Commander's up here helping the fight as well. And now it's time to reclaim and take that metal. Um, but yeah, I'd actually already say that your metal's quite high, which is good. I mean, it's good that you were able to reclaim this metal here. It's good that you got some mexes. I would say in terms of economy, you could have out a couple more constructors. And I'm someone that will suggest getting more constructors first before building this construction turret. The reason being is this takes a while to build, and you don't really need all the build power that the construction turret has to offer quite yet. I mean, you would if you had a bit more energy, but you don't. But with the if you added on construction bots instead, you could use them to support the lab, and then also send a couple of them out to grab the metal here sooner, and that'll just propel your metal higher. And then having the couple extra to assist the lab and or build more wind turbines would be helpful. Yeah, on this map, I don't mind. I like the fact actually that you went a couple of solar here. Again, you saw that it died down early, so that was a nice add-on right there. But yeah, going back to the constructor thing, having a couple of constructors assist this allows you to be flexible, allows you to, take them and build some wind turbines, or you can take them and build the metal, or more metal, I should say. And then if you want to, you could even send one up here to help build stuff, get some beamers out or whatever it is that you want to defend with instead of relying completely on LLTs. But yeah, again, this 3.2 is a big deal. I like that you're grabbing this stuff. And actually, since you were able to pick these units off, you could actually set up a choke here and here. Like if you put like an LLT here and around here, and then grab this mex. And actually, with this kind of position, you could even put down like a wall to block them out, make it really annoying for them to push through, and put up a wall over here too. The walls, like, they can shoot past the wall, but it's just like to be annoying for them, because ideally, these 3.2 mexes are a big deal, so you want to secure this and this since you have the area. See what you do with it. Yeah, your metal's actually getting quite high, so you actually need that build power. Oh wow, you stopped building that. I assume that that's just a mistake, that you meant to finish it off and it just got lost with control. This I like a lot. You're basically putting this here to secure it. I would argue that it might be a little bit better to put it here just because this is a natural barrier. But then again, you got this flank to worry about then as well, so it is kind of rough. Your commander is okay. I would not suggest this. I mean, while it's good to get the metal, I would not suggest having your commander go back to grab it all. I would actually suggest either holding the position here or holding the position up here. Mainly because you want to grab this 3.2. Like I would have grabbed this with my commander sooner, and then set up the LLTs, and then if you want to, you can set up like a wall here instead, and then just have units here to prevent them from having this 3.2. Again, ideally you have both. You're in a position where you can have both, but if you're trying to play it rather safe, you could, yeah, just build it there instead. Um, but yeah, your resources are very high, so I would highly recommend adding on some build power. And again, to go back to that, I would suggest in the form of construction bots. And then once you have, say, like 4 or 5 or so construction bots assisting the lab, then build the construction turret with all of them. And it'll build really fast, and then you'll have all that extra build power. The only trade-off with that is to build all those constructors, you're not building units. And you're kind of relying on your commander to hold the position up here or up here, which, since their commander's not up here, is very doable. And just having some pawn support, LT support, etc. Um, my apologies. My apologies. My mic actually just died, and I had to put a new battery in it. But yes, I hope I explained that well enough. Um, just holding either that position or this position with your commander, and then using bots to grab the mexes from back here. Because this, yeah, it's a fair chunk of metal, but yeah, your build power is a main culprit to use that metal. All right, moving on. Let's look at. I assume he builds the RD soon. Okay, your commander comes back. Okay, so you kind of, I feel like you're like second guessing yourself a little bit, like where to set up, what to do. So yeah, I hope what I said earlier makes that pretty clear. And then this Artie's being annoying. So one of the things is, if you're able to take this metal a little bit sooner and add on build power a bit sooner, you'll have more units. And with those more units, you can make this position for them rather annoying. Like this isn't very much to defend with. Like then again, his metal's pretty low or pretty high as well. Actually, his metal's very high. So he doesn't have as many units as he could have. But same with you, as you could have some more with the metal that you have. Nice D-gun. That was definitely worth it. And actually, you could push this back. Like you could actually just D-gun all this stuff. The LLTs. I don't know if you know about the commander update recently, but LLTs do not deal extra damage to commanders anymore. So it's actually kind of okay to just run up and D-gun this, and then just run back and set up your line. The one thing about Arties is they're not very fast. They're good at sieging a position, but they have trouble getting away from things like pawns and blitzes. And they can't really, they have no like direct attack. Like they shoot something high in the sky and it rains down, right? So like actually the main thing about Arties, or the main way to deal with Arties, is just to have a standing army that can run up and just kill it. And the more Arties they have, the less other units they'll have to defend it. But yeah, when it's just like one, it's kind of hard to do that because they'll probably have an LLT defending it. So one of the other things that you could do is, again, if you had like some builders grab, or okay, so you have builders grabbing the mexes now. But if these were grabbed a little bit sooner, they could be used like in the fronts here, and you could put down slightly heavier defenses because this is a very good position to have. So it's kind of nice to be able to defend it really well. I don't usually recommend an HLT, but you could put an HLT down, like somewhere. I would put it maybe back here, type of thing. just to like control this area better. The arties, I believe they outrange them though. Let's see, 710 range for that arty. Where is a builder? Okay, so builder, no, HLT, the sentry. Okay, so only 430 range. So I mean, it's not like, this is definitely way better for the shell shocker. Um, so like in this case, the HLT won't really help because artillery is just good at dealing with it. Um, but one of the other things that you can do is put down a jammer. If you put down a jammer, then they won't be able to see any of this, and unless they get line of sight. So with that, it's harder for the artillery to shell it. Um, but yeah, I like that you're trying to hold on to this position. One of the other things that helps against arties is just to have stuff repairing this. So having like a resbot or two just over here repairing. Anytime your commander's idle, you could have him repair. And when you set something like that up, I would recommend actually putting these units on repeats. When a unit is on repeats, it'll just like continuously cycle through the orders queued up. So you can just like tell it to repair an area like this. Ignore the graphical error. I don't know why it bugs like that, but for me, I don't know why it bugs like that for me, but I don't really know if anyone else has that bug. But anyways, you just set up your repair, like say in this region, and then he'll just repair the LLTs, and then you can have resbots do the same thing. And just like repair the turrets so they don't die. So it just like kind of forces them to get more artillery. And if they get more artillery, then it's easier for you to run in with units as well. And if it's a really important position, you could also put down a construction turret just to help like repair stuff around. At this point, your energy is pretty low, but that's because of wind. Again, the storage would help a lot when it gets low. Yeah, there's actually a lot of metal that you're floating as well. So yeah, that goes back to the build power thing. Okay, you're dancing around your rockets. Okay, I don't mind this. This is good. If you had some other... Okay, so here comes the pawns. Alright. One thing that might help here a lot, because I see you moving your rockets in and out, actually, two things. Probably the more important thing is to try to make a line with your units. If you make a line, then more of them can shoot, because as a ball, oftentimes with a lot of units anyway, they'll actually block each other from shooting because they don't want to shoot each other in the back. So actually it's only like the first few rocket bots here that are actually firing. So by balling up like this, you're actually making it so only a few fire at a time when they all could be firing. Okay, so you do this run around. Interesting. Oh, and the second thing, sorry, my head's like all over the place right now. The second thing is to use fight command. So fight commands is basically, it won't show down here for me because I have the display off for it, but it should show down there for you if you have all the buttons on. I just have some of mine off. But it's F to use fight commands, and you can either left click drag, and that'll set up like a grid of units to fight to that location, or you could use right click and drag like this, and it's just like the move command where you can draw a line. And what that'll allow you to do is basically order your rocket bots to it basically tells them to get into range of an enemy and fire and stand there. Like basically move to that position unless there's an enemy and engage with the enemy. It's like attack move from StarCraft if you're familiar with that. It's a little bit different here because obviously units move, or units attack while they move. But the fight command will prevent them from going into the range of other units. So it's useful for backline units or units with more range. So that is a good way to quickly get your Rocketeers in range of an LLT without stepping too close to it or within its, the LLT range. Oh, okay. So why did his? Okay, he actually just left the area to go deal with, or deal with the possibility of getting raided. Which obviously he needs to do that, but that actually gives you a good opportunity to take this stuff out and secure more location. So you can actually push in here with your rockets, especially if you use the fight commands. Then they don't take damage from the sentries, and then you can use your pawns to destroy all this. And then all of a sudden your opponent would be in a terrible position. So red here gave you a great opportunity to do something like that. I kind of want to check in with your economy a little bit. Yeah, so you're basically floating a lot. So ideally you have, like in a perfect game of bar, your metal would be basically 0 or close to 0, and your energy would be full-ish, but not, not too full. Like you don't want too much energy excess because that means you're overspending on building energy production. But yeah, I'm glad you're adding on some build power here. It just looks like it could be a little sooner is all. Okay. Yeah, so red gave you a nice opportunity to move and destroy this. You might not have seen it, but now purple's units are back, so you can't really do as much. But then again, these are rockets, so or not rockets, artillery. So if you had some other fighting units like what are they called? I mean, yeah, like pawns would work, but thugs and maces would do wonders too. Centurions are a bit slower, and while they're like reasonably good, it's easy for people to kind of pick them off because they're slower, and units can like outrange them. So I would actually recommend more maces in this situation. Plasma bots are actually quite good in a lot of situations. Yeah, it just feels a little bit heavy on these rocket bots or rocketeers. Okay, so you are getting a jammer. But yeah, this is tough because he's using these blitzes to basically get close to you, and your rocket bots are in danger because there's there's not that much support. So these, here's your Centurion that came out. Is this on? This is on fast. I need to slow it down. So that's unfortunate that you lost the jammer there, because that is a good way to deal with arties. But yeah, I would actually say the main thing here is just not having enough units because you're not using your metal. So it's more of an economics issue than a like how do I counter this issue. Rocket bots are good for skirmishing, but they're not like they're not really units that you want to just send in there, tank the damage, and destroy a bunch of shit. They're basically like sit from it as far away as possible and shoot. And it's a little bit rough because they the artillery in this kind of location is pretty strong because there isn't a lot of wiggle room to move through here. Red's giving you a little bit of help here too. That's nice. Yeah, there's a lot of arties here. Okay, so now you have to deal with hounds, so that makes it a lot harder. But yeah, from this position I would just retreat back because you can't hold it anymore. Which is fine, you held it for quite a while. I would have tried to grab this mech though. But either way, you're grabbing some metal on your way out, that's nice. You don't really need it, but to deny them metal and to any extra metal you have will float over to your teammates. So that it's always a good call to pick up some metal. But yeah, at this point you get pushed back. Purple's ended up actually spending all that metal on all these artilleries and blitzes. Let's see, how are you doing with that? Yeah, you still got a lot of metal here. Yeah, there is a time Like if you own a lot of mexes, I forget how big these. Okay, they're 1.8, so they're not huge mexes, but like there's plenty of them, given that it's in 8v8s. Um, and you got a guy just constantly building wins. That's great. Um, and again, I'll say this like a tenth for the 10th time. You know, like storage is actually really nice for wins that dips down this low. Um, but besides that, you could actually have another builder grabbing or building more wins. Either support this first one to build more, or you could have it just like. Actually, yeah, I would suggest supporting it with the first one, and if you still need energy, you could actually have a third guy just like building extra wind as well. The one thing about supporting is like if you know, there is travel time between building each wind, so at some point it is more efficient to just have a second set of winds going instead of building one set of winds and having guys support the one guy building it. Just FYI. Yeah, having your economy in order will do wonders. Basically, it'll allow you to easily take out anybody that doesn't have their economy in order just by outproducing them. You know, like you know, 4,600 metal is a lot of units. You know, thinking about it like you know, these Centurions are actually really expensive. Say it's like 300, you know, that's like, you know, quite a few Centurions that you're missing just by having the full metal. But again, I wouldn't really recommend the Centurion just because of how expensive it is. And it's not going to be terribly good against Arties, but yeah, Mace is good. Yeah, it's unfortunate that you lost this location, but it's kind of bound to happen eventually. And it's okay to push back as you did, so not bad. Yeah, actually, once your metal gets this full, you could actually just start a T2 lab with the, you know, maybe make an extra builder because you don't really want to take this guy off of energy. I mean, yeah, usually you wouldn't be able to afford it because you're spending this, but if you do happen to get a lot of metal, either through reclaim or through, you know, well, I mean, I guess usually it's reclaim, but, you know, if you have a lot of metal, you could tech it in T2 as long as you have some units supporting and making sure that you're not going to die during the transition. And I would say this is a good amount of units to do it with. You know, because purple is still tier 1. He's mostly relying on artillery, which aren't really going to do too much to break out of here. You know, so I just see it as a reasonable time. But yeah, I think that'll basically. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else I could really talk about here other than, you know, the economic situation and, you know, controlling the area a little bit. Yeah, that's a good call. Actually, like these would, well, no, these are medium tanks. I thought those were the artillery. I was gonna say maybe you could go in there, but not really. But yeah, I don't mind you poking a little bit, looking around. You know, you're doing a great job. Just, you know, pulling back, pushing in, and all that stuff. So nice work. But yeah, I think that'll wrap up this this replay. Just because, you know, unless you get your economy in order and stuff, like it's not going to matter too much how you play it from here, because there's just so many things that could be fixed up early on in terms of economy and stuff. So I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions or anything, you know, feel free to ask them either in the thread or, you know, if you have some general questions, you know, you can leave them in the Academy chat, obviously, too. But that'll do it for me.